There are 7 things you do in public that are lowering your status, and you have no idea you're doing them. You do these every day, at work, in conversations, in groups, at dinner, in meetings, around friends, around strangers. And you think they're harmless. Some of them you think are polite. Some of them you think make you a good listener, a good colleague, a likable person. But every single one is sending the same signal to every person watching. This person does not hold their own ground. Machiavelli understood something about status that most people never figure out. Status isn't a title, it isn't a position, it isn't money or clothes or where you sit at the table. Status is a signal, a frequency, and you're either broadcasting your own or you're reflecting someone else's. Every second you're in public, you're transmitting information about where you believe you belong. And these 7 behaviors are transmitting submission. You've been sending that signal your whole life, in every room, in front of every person who's ever judged how to treat you. And you never heard the frequency you were putting out. After this video, you'll hear it, you'll feel it, and you'll know exactly how to change it. Because for every behavior I show you, I'll show you exactly what replacing it looks like. Not theory, the actual person you become in the actual room when you stop doing it. And the 7th behavior is the root. It's the one that powers all 6 of the others. It's the reason you do every other behavior on this list. But you need to see the first 6 to understand what the 7th one is actually doing to you. Before we start, understand something. This isn't about becoming rigid or robotic in public. This is about becoming aware of signals you've been sending that you didn't know you were sending. Once you see them, you can't unsee them. And once you stop sending them, people will treat you differently. Not because you demanded anything, because you stopped telling them you don't deserve it. Here's how status actually works. Most people think status is something other people assign to you, something you earn through achievements or job titles or social proof. It's not. Status is something you assign to yourself through behavior, and then other people agree with your assignment. If you carry yourself like someone who belongs at the top of the room, people treat you like someone who belongs at the top. If you carry yourself like someone who's grateful to be included, people treat you like someone who's lucky to be there. These 7 behaviors are the ones telling every room you walk into that you've put yourself in the lower position. And the worst part is, you've been doing it while thinking you were being polite. The first thing you do in public that lowers your status. And this one, you did it in the last conversation you had, maybe the last 10. You nod too much when someone else is talking. The constant head bobbing, the rhythmic up and down that runs the entire time someone is speaking to you. Not a deliberate nod at a point that earned it, an automatic one, a continuous one, a nod that started when they opened their mouth and hasn't stopped since. You think this is active listening. You think it shows you're engaged, present, respectful, but what it actually broadcasts to every person watching is real-time submission. You are physically performing agreement before you've even processed what the person is saying. Your body is applauding while your brain is still loading, and every person in the room reads that signal instantly, not as attentiveness, as eagerness to please. Think about the last conversation you had with someone you respect, someone above you. Did your head move the entire time? Did you nod at every sentence, every pause, every half-formed thought they offered? Now think about a conversation with someone you don't respect, someone you're not trying to impress. Did your head move the same way? Probably not, because the nod isn't about agreement, it's about hierarchy. You nod up, you hold still across, and everyone watching knows the difference. Watch what happens in a room when someone is nodding through an entire conversation. The speaker doesn't register respect, they register compliance. They register someone who will agree with them before they finish the thought, and they treat that person accordingly. They give them less weight, less consideration. Because why would you weigh the opinion of someone who already agreed before the argument was made? Now picture someone in the exact same conversation who doesn't nod. They're sitting across from the same speaker, same words, same room, but their head is still. Their posture is settled. Their eyes are engaged, but their body isn't performing anything. They look like someone who's processing, evaluating, taking the words in without rushing to co-sign them. And when they do nod, once, deliberately, at a point that genuinely earned it, that single nod lands like a verdict. The speaker feels it, the room feels it, because it was chosen, not automatic. That one deliberate nod communicates more respect than 50 head bobs ever could. The room reads this person as someone whose agreement means something because it isn't given away for free. Same conversation, same room, completely different status signal. The only difference is stillness. Machiavelli wrote that a wise prince listens to counsel, but reserves his judgment until he alone has decided. What he understood is that agreement that is automatic has no value. Agreement that must be earned is authority. The person who nods at everything has told the room their approval costs nothing. The person who holds still has told the room their approval is worth waiting for. Same room, same silence. One is empty, the other is full. That's the first behavior, the silent applause. You've been clapping for people who didn't earn it, and they've been treating your applause like background noise. But the second behavior is one you do with your voice instead of your body. And it's so automatic, you don't even register it as a choice. What is it? The second thing you do in public that lowers your status. And this one costs you every time you open your mouth. You fill every silence, talking when nobody asked you to, adding "if that makes sense" or "I don't know" to the end of a perfectly clear statement. Throwing words into dead air because the quiet felt dangerous. Nervous laughter to break a gap nobody else was uncomfortable with. Repeating yourself because the silence after your first statement felt like rejection. Narrating your own actions. Explaining things that needed no explanation. What this broadcasts to the room. You are uncomfortable with space. You cannot hold stillness. You need noise to feel safe. And every unnecessary word you throw into a silence that didn't ask for it dilutes the weight of the words that actually mattered. Think about a time you said something and nobody responded immediately. What did you do? Did you sit in it? Or did you start talking again? Did you rephrase what you just said? Did you add, "I mean, I could be wrong"? Did you laugh to break a tension that only you were feeling? Every single word you added after the first statement weakened it. You took something that was clear and complete and buried it under qualifications that nobody requested. Watch what happens when someone fills silence in a meeting. They make a good point, then they keep going. They explain it again, they soften it, they add caveats, and the room watches the point dissolve in real time. The silence that would have given it weight gets filled with noise that takes the weight away. By the time they stop talking, nobody remembers the original point. They remember the rambling. Now picture someone who says the same thing in the same room and then stops. They deliver their point, and then silence. Their body doesn't shift. Their face doesn't search for validation. They sit in the space after their words like it's a chair they own, and watch what happens in the room. Other people start responding, engaging, building on what was said, because the silence gave the words room to land, room to breathe, room to matter. The person who holds silence after speaking looks like someone who trusts their own words to survive on their own. The person who fills silence looks like someone performing CPR on a sentence that was already alive. Same statement, same room. One person lets it stand, the other person buries it, and the room always respects the person who lets it stand. Machiavelli wrote that the wise man speaks rarely, and when he does, his words carry the weight of stones. What he understood is that rarity creates gravity. The person who speaks least is listened to most, not because their words are better, because the silence around them makes every word feel chosen, and chosen words command rooms that chatter never will. That's the second behavior, the anxiety broadcast. Every word you throw into a silence is a confession that you can't hold space. But the third behavior is one you think is a social strength. You think it makes people like you. It doesn't. It makes people read you as someone who performs for the room instead of existing in it. What is it? The third thing you do in public that lowers your status. And this one feels like friendliness. It isn't. You laugh when nothing is funny. Nervous laughter. Laughing too hard at someone's mediocre joke because they're senior to you. Laughing first at your own joke to give the room permission to find you funny. Adding a little laugh to the end of a serious statement because you don't want the room to think you take yourself too seriously. Giggling to soften something you're afraid to say straight. What this broadcasts: you need the social temperature to stay safe. You're using laughter as a peacekeeper, a shield, a way to make sure nobody in the room feels tension. But tension isn't your enemy. And when you laugh at something that didn't earn it, you're not charming the room. You're working for it. That's not charisma, that's labor. And every person in the room can feel the difference between a laugh that's real and one that's performing a social function. Think about the last time you laughed at something your boss said that wasn't funny, or the last time you added a laugh after a serious opinion because you were afraid of how it would land delivered straight. You turned your honesty into a joke so the room would accept it. You padded your truth with sound effects so it wouldn't create friction. And in doing so, you told the room that your real thoughts need a costume before they're allowed out in public. Watch what happens when someone laughs at everything. The room stops registering their laughter as a signal. It becomes background noise. It becomes meaningless. And when they do have a genuine reaction to something, nobody notices because they've already spent their laughter on everything else. Their response has been diluted to nothing because it's been given to everything. Now picture the person who doesn't laugh at the mediocre joke. They're not scowling. They're not creating tension. They're just neutral. A slight acknowledgement. Maybe a small expression that says, "I heard you." But the performative laugh doesn't come. And watch what happens. The room recalibrates. The joke teller registers the absence and files it. This person's amusement has to be earned. It can't be purchased with a weak attempt. And later, when something genuinely funny happens, when this person actually laughs, the entire room feels it, because it's real, it's rare, it hasn't been diluted by 50 fake ones before it. Their laughter becomes an event instead of a soundtrack. Their silence before it becomes a frame that makes the real laugh mean something. Same room, same conversations. One person's laugh is everywhere and means nothing. The other person's laugh is rare and means everything. Status isn't just what you give, it's what you withhold. Machiavelli understood that the appearance of invulnerability is the foundation of authority. Nervous laughter reveals cracks. Every laugh you give to something that didn't earn it tells the room where your need for approval lives. But the person whose laughter is rare and real tells the room something different. They tell the room that their approval can't be purchased cheaply. And what can't be purchased cheaply is valued accordingly. That's the third behavior, the approval performance. 3 behaviors: the nod, the noise, the laugh. You're already seeing yourself differently than you did 5 minutes ago. Most people go their entire lives broadcasting these signals in every room they enter, without once realizing what they're telling the room about themselves. You see it now, and once you see it, you can't go back to not seeing it. But before we go into the next 4, ask yourself something. Of these first 3, the nodding, the silence filling, the nervous laughter, which one is yours? Which one do you default to without thinking? Be honest. Because whatever you just identified is the signal you've been sending in every room, every conversation, every meeting for years. And every person who's ever met you registered it within seconds of watching you. That's the frequency they filed you under. And it's been shaping how they treat you, what they offer you, and what they think you deserve ever since. And if you think this is just theory, it isn't. Machiavelli saw what happens when someone broadcasts the wrong signal from the highest seat in the room. He served under Piero Soderini, the head of the Florentine Republic. Soderini had the title, he had the office, he had every authority a leader could hold. But Machiavelli watched him for years and saw the same thing every time. Soderini adjusted, he softened his voice for allies. He shifted his position based on who was pressuring him. He checked faces before speaking. He filled silences with compromises nobody asked for. He nodded through conversations. He laughed to keep the room comfortable. He was a mirror, reflecting whatever the room seemed to want instead of broadcasting his own signal. And in 1512, the Medici walked back into Florence with no title, no office, no official authority, and removed him without a fight. Because everyone in the city had already seen what Machiavelli had seen for years. Soderini sat in the seat of power, but never once broadcast the frequency of it. And when someone finally showed up who did, the seat didn't save him. The signal is what matters, not the title, the signal. And the next 4 behaviors are the ones broadcasting a signal that no title can overcome. What's the 4th? The 4th thing you do in public that lowers your status. And this one, most people think means nothing. It means everything. You check your phone when someone is talking to you, glancing at it, flipping it face down on the table, picking it up mid-sentence, holding it in your hand like a security blanket during a conversation, even placing it face up where every notification pulls at your peripheral vision. You think this is normal. Everyone does it. But what it broadcasts about you, something external owns a piece of your presence. You are not fully sovereign over your own attention. Your phone has a claim on you that every person in the room can see. And in any dynamic, the person whose attention gets hijacked is the person with lower status. Because attention is the most honest currency that exists. Where your eyes go tells the room what you value, and if your eyes go to a screen while a human is speaking to you, you've ranked the screen above the human, and you've ranked yourself as someone who can't control where their own focus lands. Think about a conversation where someone checked their phone while you were mid-sentence. How did it feel? Did it feel neutral, or did something shift? You felt dismissed, deprioritized. You felt like what you were saying wasn't enough to compete with a notification. Now think about how many times you've done that to someone else without registering it, without noticing the shift in their eyes when your hand moved toward your pocket. Watch what happens when someone checks their phone in a group conversation. The speaker falters. The energy drops. The thread of what was being shared thins. And the person who checked their phone doesn't just miss information. They tell the room that their attention is available to the highest bidder. And the highest bidder right now is a screen in their pocket. That signal gets filed instantly. This person's focus can be bought for the price of a vibration. Now picture the person who puts their phone away. Not face down on the table, away, in a pocket, in a bag, gone. And when someone speaks to them, their attention is complete, not performed, actual. Their eyes don't drift. Their hands don't twitch toward anything. They're in the conversation the way a person is in a room when there's nowhere else they'd rather be. And the person speaking to them feels it immediately. They feel heard in a way that's become so rare it's almost jarring. They lean in, they share more. They give this person access to honesty and information they don't give to the person whose thumb was hovering over a notification. Because undivided attention has become so scarce that the person who gives it fully gets treated like the most important person in the room. Not because they demanded it, because they offered something almost nobody offers anymore. Full, unbroken, chosen presence. The person with their phone away doesn't just look higher status. They feel higher status because they've proven to the room and to themselves that nothing in their pocket is more important than the moment they're standing in. Machiavelli wrote that a prince whose attention can be diverted is a prince whose court knows he can be distracted. And what can be distracted can be manipulated. What he understood is that attention is not a passive state, it's a declaration. Where your eyes rest tells the room what you serve. The person who serves a screen in their pocket has told the room their loyalty can be interrupted at any moment. The person who serves the conversation has told the room their presence is a choice, and choices command more respect than habits ever will. That's the fourth behavior, the attention surrender. But the fifth behavior operates differently than the first four. This one sounds like the best version of you. It sounds like gratitude, like good manners, like something your parents taught you to do. And it is slowly, quietly, relentlessly telling every person you interact with that you believe they're doing you a favor by existing in the same room. What is it? The fifth thing you do in public that lowers your status. And this one is going to be uncomfortable because you think it makes you a good person. You overthank people. Not normal gratitude. Excessive gratitude. Gratitude that's louder and longer than the moment deserves. Thank you so much for meeting with me, when the meeting benefits both of you. I really appreciate you taking the time when they're being paid to be there. Thanks for having me when you were invited because they need you. Thank you, thank you, thank you after someone does something that was part of their job. You spray gratitude across every interaction like it's the cost of admission, and you think it makes you gracious, humble, well-mannered. What it actually broadcasts to every person watching. You believe you are the less valuable person in this exchange. You believe the other person is doing you a favor. You believe their time is worth more than yours. And by thanking them excessively, you've told them so, out loud, in front of everyone, before the conversation has even started. And the research on this is devastating. Psychologists studying status dynamics found that people form snap judgments about power and position within seconds of a social interaction, not based on credentials or accomplishments, based on behavioral cues. And one of the strongest cues is asymmetrical gratitude. When one person thanks the other significantly more than the situation warrants, every observer instantly reads that person as the lower status participant. The overthanker has assigned themselves the bottom of the exchange and the other person the top. And once that frame locks in, everything that follows gets filtered through it. Your ideas sound less authoritative. Your opinions carry less weight. Your presence feels less essential because you already announced at the door that you're the lucky one for being here. Think about the last time you walked into a meeting, a coffee, an interview, a conversation with someone you perceive as important. What were your first words? Were they a statement of equality, or were they a cascade of thank yous that told the other person you're grateful they showed up? Think about what that did to the dynamic before a single substantive word was exchanged. You set the hierarchy, you placed yourself below them, and you did it with a smile because you thought you were being polite. Watch what happens when someone overthanks. The person being thanked doesn't feel respected, they feel elevated. And being elevated by someone means that person is below you. The overthanker intended connection. What they created was a ladder, with themselves at the bottom rung, and the person at the top now treats them accordingly. They listen a little less, they interrupt a little more, they make decisions without consulting them. Not because they're cruel, because the dynamic was set in the first 5 seconds, by the person who said thank you so much 3 times before the conversation began. Now picture the person in the same situation who doesn't overthank. They walk into the same meeting, same people, same context, and instead of thank you so much for taking the time, they say good to see you, or they just sit down and begin. Their energy communicates something entirely different. It says this is a meeting between 2 people who both benefit from being here. Not a favor being granted, not a gift being received, a mutual exchange between equals. Their gratitude isn't absent, it's proportional. If someone does something genuinely generous, they acknowledge it once, clearly, specifically, and then they move on. They don't repeat it, they don't inflate it, they don't turn a normal interaction into a ceremony of appreciation. And watch how the room treats them versus the overthanker. The person who entered as an equal gets treated as an equal. Their ideas get weighed, their time gets respected, their presence gets valued, not because they demanded any of this, because they never announced that they didn't deserve it. Same room, same meeting. One person walked in grateful to be allowed, the other walked in ready to contribute. The room gives authority to the one who assumed it. Every time. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must carry himself so that no one dares to deceive him or attempt to manage him. What he understood is that excessive gratitude is an invitation to be managed. When you overthank, you tell the other person that you need this more than they do. And the person who needs it more is the person who gets less. Less respect, less consideration, less weight. The prince doesn't thank the court for attending. The court thanks the prince for the audience. Not because the prince demands it, because his bearing made the hierarchy clear before anyone spoke. That's the 5th behavior, the gratitude surrender. But the 6th behavior is the one that might sting the most, because you don't just do this one unconsciously. You do it in front of people who are already watching you, and they see everything. What is it? The 6th thing you do in public that lowers your status, and this one reveals more about you than you realize. You change your energy when someone important walks in, straightening your posture, fixing your clothes, lowering your voice, suddenly becoming more polished, more professional, more impressive, adjusting your vocabulary, sitting up straighter, changing the subject to something weightier. The moment a boss, a senior figure, someone you want to impress enters the room, your entire operating system recalibrates, and you don't even notice it happening. But every person who was already in the room notices. They watched you switch modes. They saw the version of you that existed before the important person arrived, and the version that appeared after. And now they know something about you that you didn't mean to reveal. Your composure is borrowed. It depends on who's watching, and the version they were getting before the switch wasn't the best one. Or maybe it was, and the new version is the performance. Either way, they saw the transition, and a transition is a confession. It says my standard changes based on my audience. Think about the last time someone important walked into a room you were in. What changed in your body? Did your back straighten? Did your voice shift? Did the conversation you were having suddenly feel like it needed to become more impressive? That adjustment happened in less than a second, and every person who was already in the room registered it just as fast. They now know that the version of you they were getting wasn't the one you bring when it counts, and that knowledge changes how they treat you permanently. Watch what happens when someone adjusts in a group. The people who were already there feel the shift. They feel the downgrade. They were talking to the relaxed version and just got replaced by the performing version. And they know the performing version wasn't for them. That feeling of not being important enough to get someone's best stays. It shapes how they respect that person from that point forward. Now picture the person who doesn't change. The CEO walks in. The senior partner sits down. The authority figure enters. And this person stays exactly the same. Same posture, same tone, same energy, same conversation topic. They don't straighten up because they were already sitting the way they sit. They don't polish their vocabulary because they were already speaking the way they speak. They don't adjust because there's nothing to adjust. Their signal is the same regardless of audience. And watch what happens. The important person who just walked in notices, not consciously, instinctively. Because in a room full of people who just recalibrated, the person who held still stands out. They read as an equal, not because they announced it, because their body told the truth. My composure doesn't depend on who's in the room, it's mine. I brought it with me, and it stays the same whether I'm talking to an intern or a CEO. That consistency is one of the most powerful status signals in any social environment, because it tells every person watching, regardless of their rank, that they're getting the real version. And the real version doesn't flinch. Machiavelli understood that the prince must appear the same to all audiences. Consistency of character is the foundation of authority. The leader who changes his bearing based on who enters has revealed that his bearing was never his own. It was a costume he puts on for certain rooms and takes off for others. And the moment anyone sees the costume change, they stop trusting every version. That's the sixth behavior, the composure collapse. 6 behaviors, 6 signals you've been sending without hearing them. The nod, the noise, the laugh, the phone, the gratitude, the adjustment. But the 7th behavior is the one I told you about at the beginning, the root, the one that powers all 6. Because every behavior in this video, every nod, every filled silence, every nervous laugh, every phone check, every excessive thank you, every energy adjustment, they all come from the same source. And until you see that source for what it is, the other 6 keep coming back no matter how hard you try to stop them. The 7th thing you do in public that lowers your status, the master behavior, the root of all 6. You mirror whoever holds the most power in the room. You walk in as yourself. You have your own energy, your own pace, your own way of sitting and speaking and breathing and being. But the moment someone with perceived higher status enters, speaks or shifts the energy, something happens. Your tone adjusts to match theirs. Your pace speeds up or slows down to sync with theirs. Your vocabulary shifts. Your posture echoes their posture. Your energy reshapes itself around theirs. You become a reflection of whoever you perceive as the most powerful person in the room. Not because you chose to, because your nervous system is trained to find the dominant signal and match it, and you don't even realize it's happening. This is the root, because every behavior in this video is a version of mirroring. You nod excessively because you're physically mirroring agreement with whoever's speaking. Your body is tuning itself to their rhythm. You fill silence because the dominant energy seems to demand activity and your mirror can't reflect stillness. You laugh nervously because you're matching the emotional temperature you think the room's authority wants. You check your phone because the powerful person isn't engaging you and your mirror has nothing to reflect. You overthink because you're mirroring the status gap you perceive. Your gratitude scales up the higher you rank the other person, which means your gratitude isn't genuine. It's calibrated to hierarchy. You adjust when someone enters because you're recalibrating your mirror to a new, more powerful source. Every behavior is you tuning your signal to someone else's broadcast instead of holding your own. Watch any room where decisions get made. A boardroom, a team meeting, a negotiation table. Watch who shifts when the most senior person speaks and who stays exactly the same. The people who adjust their posture, match the boss's tone, speed up or slow down to sync with whoever's leading, their readers' subordinates instantly. Not because they lack skill, because they lack their own signal. Now watch the person who doesn't shift, who sat down with their own energy and kept it the entire meeting regardless of who walked in or who raised their voice. That person gets consulted, gets listened to, gets weight, not because they're louder or smarter, because they're the only one in the room who isn't borrowing their composure from someone else. The room doesn't know why they respect that person more, they just do, because the signal is different. Now picture yourself walking into a room and not mirroring. You have your own pace, your own tone, your own rhythm. Someone senior speaks loudly and quickly. You don't speed up. Someone powerful speaks slowly and deliberately. You don't slow down to match. You hold your own tempo, your own volume, your own energy. Not rigidly, not performatively, just naturally. The way you breathe when you're alone. the way you sit when nobody's watching. That version of you, the unmirrored version, is the one that carries the most weight, because everyone in the room is unconsciously doing one of two things: broadcasting or reflecting, and the person who broadcasts becomes the person everyone else reflects. That's not a conscious choice the room makes, it's gravitational. The person with the strongest, most consistent signal becomes the center, and everyone else orbits. You've spent your life orbiting, matching, reflecting, tuning yourself to frequencies that weren't yours. And every room you've entered has positioned you accordingly, not at the center, at the edge, reflecting inward. But the moment you hold your own frequency, the moment you stop matching and start broadcasting, the room reorganizes, quietly. People listen a little more carefully when you speak. They start mirroring you without realizing it. They adjust to your pace, your energy, your tone, and you'll feel it. For the first time, you'll feel what it's like to be the source instead of the reflection. And that feeling is what status actually is. Not a title, not a position, a frequency that's yours, that you hold, that doesn't change based on who walks through the door. Machiavelli wrote that the prince must be self-contained. He listens to advisors, but the final rhythm is his own. He does not tune his frequency to the court tunes to him. And the moment a prince begins adjusting to the room instead of the room adjusting to him, his authority has already been surrendered. Not through defeat, through the quiet confession that his signal was never his own. 7 behaviors: nodding through every conversation, the silent applause, filling every silence, the anxiety broadcast, laughing when nothing is funny, the approval performance, checking your phone, the attention surrender, overthanking everyone you meet, the gratitude surrender, adjusting when someone enters, the composure collapse, mirroring whoever holds the most power, the master signal, the root of all 6. Now look at your life with these 7 behaviors in mind. How many conversations did you nod through today without even agreeing with what was being said? How many silences did you fill with words that added nothing? How many times did you laugh at something that wasn't funny because the alternative felt dangerous? How many conversations did you half attend because your phone had a piece of your brain? How many times did you say thank you so much to someone who was getting just as much out of the interaction as you were? Who walked into a room today and made you change who you were being? And in every one of those moments, whose frequency were you reflecting instead of broadcasting your own? These 7 behaviors have been running in every room you've walked into, at every table you've sat down at, in every meeting, every dinner, every conversation where you walked away feeling smaller than when you arrived. And you never knew why. You never traced it back to the nod that was too eager, the silence you couldn't hold, the laugh you didn't mean, the phone that stole your presence, the gratitude that told everyone you were the lucky one, the adjustment you made for someone who just walked in, the mirror you became instead of the source you could have been. But now you see it, now you hear the signal, and you can't unhear it. Here's what changes now. The next time someone is talking and your head starts bobbing on autopilot, you'll feel it, and you'll hold still. You'll let your stillness become your listening, and you'll feel how much more weight your attention carries when it isn't performing. The next time a silence opens up after you speak, you'll sit in it. You'll feel the discomfort, and you'll stay anyway, and you'll feel your words gain gravity they never had when you were burying them under nervous noise. The next time someone says something mediocre, and your body wants to produce a laugh it didn't earn, you won't. You'll let the silence be your honest review, and you'll notice how the room starts valuing your real reactions because they stopped getting the fake ones. The next time someone is talking to you, your phone will be gone, and the person across from you will feel something they haven't felt from anyone in years. Full, chosen, undivided attention. The next time you walk into a meeting or a coffee or an interview, you won't open with a flood of thank yous. You'll walk in like someone who belongs at the table, not someone who's grateful to be near it. The next time someone important enters a room, you won't adjust a thing, and they'll notice you. Not because you performed for them, because you were the only one who didn't. And the next time you feel yourself shifting, your tone, your posture, your energy, to match whoever seems most powerful, you'll catch it. You'll hold your own frequency. And for the first time, you'll feel the room start adjusting to you instead of you adjusting to it. And here's what you need to understand about what just happened. This isn't a video you apply tomorrow. This isn't a list you try to remember. Something already changed while you were watching. Your brain already started hearing the signals it was sending. Right now, in this moment, you are not the same person who pressed play. You will never nod the same way again. You'll feel your head moving, and you'll know what it's broadcasting. You will never fill a silence the same way again. You'll hear yourself reaching for words that aren't needed, and you'll stop. You will never laugh on autopilot again. You'll feel the fake one forming, and you'll let it die. You will never hold your phone the same way in a conversation. You'll feel its pull, and you'll know what answering it costs. You will never overthank someone for something that was mutual. You'll hear the hierarchy you're creating with your gratitude, and you'll stop building it. You will never adjust for someone who walks into a room. You'll feel the urge to recalibrate, and you'll hold still. And you will never mirror someone else's frequency without knowing you're doing it, because now you hear it, and a signal that's been heard can never go back to being invisible. That's not a choice you're making. That's something that already happened to your brain while you were sitting here. The shift isn't tomorrow. The shift already occurred. You're already different, and you can't go back. Machiavelli spent his life watching status move between people, and the single clearest pattern he found was this. The people who hold status in a room never chase it. They never perform for it. They never adjust themselves to earn it. They simply occupy their space as though it was always theirs. And the room watching them decides it must be true, because confidence that is assumed is confidence that is believed, and confidence that is believed becomes status that is real. You've been adjusting, performing, mirroring, reflecting, sending signals you didn't know you were sending. But that's over now. Not because you decided to change, because you already did. The moment you heard the frequency changed, and it doesn't change back. If something just shifted in how you see yourself, tell me in the comments. Write, "My signal changes today." Let me see how many people here just stopped reflecting and started broadcasting. And don't forget to keep watching the next video. It is important, much more than you imagine. See you there.